Welcome to Housing Joint Ventures course on creating a money makeover. In this course, we're going to discuss the 6 steps to financial independence with tips for each step. Now, you might not think that this is related to real estate investing, but really and truly, real estate is really at the top of the financial pyramid. I'm Rochelle Delia, co-founder of Housing Joint Venture. And one thing that you may not know is that both John and I have held insurance licenses for many years. We've been professionals in the financial services industry. Now, why is this important? It allows us to have context and really see how real estate investing fits into the broader context. And therefore, we can bring these information to you. So let's think about it. When was the last time you crushed a financial debt payment or rocked a savings goal that you thought was impossible? Or even hammered out a financial strategy that future you will be proud of? If it's been a while, or maybe never, that's okay. Because now could be a great time for a money makeover. Let's start hammering it out with these 6 steps to financial independence. Now, the first step is debt management. As we all know, a major obstacle to a sound financial future is consumer debt. That's why it's important to have a strategy in place that helps reduce and eliminate it. Now, in this section, we're really talking about bad debt that's not adding to your income and is not additive. Let's start by starting small. Starting small is still huge. Adding just $10 pays off. How can you do it? Well, you can give up a small luxury. Try at least once a month and put the money that you would have spent towards credit card debt. It's really a small sacrifice, but it can make a big difference in the long run. Here's an example. Let's say you owe $1,500 on a credit card and it has an 18% interest rate. Not too bad, pretty normal. If you make the minimum payment of $37 per month, you would pay that debt off in 63 months, a little bit over 5 years. But if you were to pay $47 a month, just $10 more a month, then you would pay it off in 44 months. That's less than 4 years. And you'd save $272 in interest. Another tool to help you manage and potentially crush debt is called the Rule of 72. Essentially, it's a concept or a rule of thumb that says if you take the number 72 and divide the interest rate that you're charged, divide 72 by the interest rate, it gives you the amount of time it takes for that debt to double or that amount to double. And it can work for you in both ways, savings or in debt. So what it does is it demonstrates the amount of time for that amount to double at a constant rate of return if that were compounded over time. So again, if you are earning, in this case, let's say 12% interest rate. If you were earning 12% interest, then the money in your savings account would double every 6 years. However, if you have a credit card whose interest rate is 12%, then that money that you owe would also double every 6 years. Here's an example. Mary owes $10,000 on a loan and then an interest rate is charged at 12% per year compounded annually. If she doesn't make any payments at this interest rate, it would take 6 years for the amount that she owes to double. Again, 72 divided by 12 is 6. So here's the rule of thumb. Pay down your debts quickly and make sure any extra payments that you make, that they're applied to your principal balance. You want to pay down your debt even more quickly? Then a strategy known as debt roll-up or the snowball method may be a strategy for you. The first step is to commit to stop borrowing. Now, what does this mean really in practice? This is borrowing to buy stuff that you don't need, okay? The first thing you want to do is list all your debts in order of their amounts from those with the lowest to the highest balance. Or, alternatively, you can list them by interest rate from the highest interest to the lowest interest. Either method works, it really just depends on your personal preference. The main point is that you want to start with either the lowest balance or the highest interest rate first, and that'll be debt number 1. You want to pay more than the minimum payment each month on debt number 1 and pay the minimum payment on all the other debts. So here's how it can work out in practice. Once you've paid down debt 1's balance, you're able to add what you were adding to debt 1, and you add that payment to debt 2's minimum payments. And you're, of course, going to continue to make the minimum payments on any other debts that you may have. And you're going to repeat that process until all the debts have been paid. Eventually, what will happen is you'll get on a roll and you start to pay off your debts faster and faster. After that first one is paid off, you'll have momentum as well as cash flow to tackle the rest of them. Just focus on paying off the balances if you focus on paying the balances with the highest interest rate, then you'll pay off your debts with a lower total amount of interest paid. Some people prefer to pay off the lowest balance first because it builds confidence and momentum. Either way works, it's completely up to you. In the next module, we're going to discuss creating an emergency fund. Thanks for tuning in.